That is ever seen.
That's because it is.
Oh God. Wow. It's something right now. Hello. Welcome to the Mother Days podcast. I'm Teresa Palmer.
And I'm Sarah Wright Olsen. Hi, Daisy.
We had a pre-date. We had a pre-recording date for a bit, for a catch-up. And we had some little giggles.
We had some laughs.
We had some lols. Oh, well, I'm excited for this episode. I don't know why. I'm so pumped.
I'm excited for this episode too.
What?
Because if you've been watching our show on YouTube for the last few months, I probably have looked a little different. Over the course of the fire time, I probably looked a lot more tired than what anyone maybe expected. But
What?
I am pregnant.
Yes. And not just a little bit pregnant.
You're like, recently, did Sarah get a boob job? No, I did not.
She's been cropped at the tits and for the last however many weeks, I'm like, it's very obvious. You need to aim the camera up more. So it keeps cropping up further and further.
If you watched the episode where Eric and I told the story about the fire, I was in the forefront and he was back here because any movement back and I was fully showing my stomach.
Oh, it's the best. I have full chills.
Oh, happy baby. Look at
oh my God.
belly.
Look at that big baby. That gorgeous puppy. Healthy. All right, you got to take us back to when, because we've obviously known this for a long time.
Got to play a little catch up here.
You're going to play a little catch up. And I know all the daisies are listening, squealing right now with this news.
Oh my God.
The best.
I feel like I've been pregnant for a very long time because I was pregnant and then wasn't, but only for a month. So when I had my pregnancy loss in July, I had my DNC August, maybe 1st or 2nd or something like that. Then my body saw that as the first day of my period because exactly 29 days later, I got my period.
Yes.
And that is the cycle in which I got pregnant. So it was 2 weeks later after that.
So you got pregnant in September.
I got the first day of my period was August 31st.
Okay. Yeah. So then mid-September, you dropped that little leggy.
Yeah. So by my birthday, before my birthday, I found out I was pregnant. But what's crazy, you guys, here's what's crazy. So I took a test really early, 7 DPO. I was
7 days past ovulation.
That's right.
If you know, guys, usually the earliest little squinter you can get is 9.
Yeah. Okay. I ate barbecue chips earlier and I have the worst heartburn. So if I keep making this pain face, that's why. Oh, and I also had barbecue pizza. Okay, whatever. I shouldn't do that.
Barbecue on barbecue.
Not a good combo. So I was using this thing called the Mira.
Yes, the Mira.
And the Mira, you pee on it every morning. It gives you your luteinizing hormone, your progesterone, and your estrogen numbers. And so I know exactly the day that I had my peak. And then from that day that it told me okay, this is your ovulation day. So then I started counting and I sort of took a test because I couldn't stop thinking about it on 7 DPO. It's I'm going to take a test. It's going to be negative, and then I'm going to wait until the weekend or whatever it was and do another one. Right. And so I took the test and it was positive, but it was very light. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to talk to Teresa tomorrow or the next day. I'm like, how am I going to hide this from her? Because I like want to wait and like tell her when I know it's for real. Because we'd had like this whole situation where I had one that was like disappearing. So like I didn't want to do that again. So then I was like, freaked out. But then the next day I was like, I couldn't wait. And I took another test and I was like, oh my God, it's darker. So then like, and I was with Eric so much that week. I don't remember why. I was with him so much that I just immediately showed it to him. It was like, oh my God. He was like, I knew it.
Oh my God, he knew.
And I was like, really? I was like, I did it as like a joke. Like I took it to be like, it's negative. Okay, I'm just going to like get through the next month, you know? Like he was like, he's like, I just knew it. And then I like showed it to Teresa as like, I thought that my line was disappearing. Here, let me show you. And I was like trying to like trick her. And she was like, I know that you're pregnant. Like, I know. Do you remember that?
I was moving out of my house and my friend Susie was over and I was like, Sarah's pregnant. And
yeah, you had a feeling.
And then Sarah and Susie was like, what? But didn't she just have a loss? And I was like, yeah, no, she just got pregnant again. She's pregnant. And then she was like, really? How do you know? I was like, I just know. I know she's pregnant. And then, because we've tried to surprise each other. I feel, last time I did it. I feel like I just blurted it out, you know, when I was pregnant last year at like 9 weeks. But remember, we've done it on the podcast. We've done it so many different ways.
Yes,
and
I was trying to surprise you.
You came up with a different way. I knew.
It did not work because you were
but
like.
I didn't know the other times. I knew this time.
But this time you knew. You were like, but Sarah, you're pregnant. And I was like, I remember I kept texting you and I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm going to wait until my birthday.
No, she said I haven't tested. You're like, I haven't tested. I was like, right. Yeah, I know you so well. There's no way you didn't test.
Oh my God. That's right. That was really funny. So I kept trying to like surprise. It wasn't working. She knew I was pregnant. Eric knew I was pregnant. I was like, so
it's like we all felt this little baby around.
Yeah.
Like we just knew that this baby had been waiting to come in. I want to talk to you about that too. Like your idea on if it's the same soul, the same spirit that was there before, or is it a new feeling or like I love hearing about that. And in particular, I want to ask you about pregnancy after loss and what comes with that.
Well, I've had this feeling, and I think I told you guys in my last like pregnancy loss episode that the night that I like found out that the baby didn't make it, that I felt this weird like peace, like this is going to happen again really, really fast, right? So, and like it just needed to happen because this baby wasn't healthy and like this soul's going to come right back in. And I remember thinking like I was very sure about it that night. But then, you know, as time goes on, like I feel like the doubts creep in and then you're just kind of like, I don't know. And so I wasn't, you know, it's not like I felt like that when I was taking the pregnancy test. I was more like nervous and, you know, is this going to happen? And yeah, like I do feel very connected to this soul baby. And then it's also funny because there's been so much that's happened in our lives. Like I was really nervous about all the testing and everything leading up to a certain point in this pregnancy to make sure baby was healthy. And then once I got past like, okay, we've done like all these major tests, baby's healthy.
20-week scan.
It was Christmas. Well, it was before that because it was like, there was like a 16-week scan, which was like a really big one too.
Oh yeah.
And then it was Christmas and we came back from Christmas and then the house burned down. And then the next week I had my 20-week scan or something right after that I had to go to. And so I felt like I had all this sort of like lead up to like sort of nervousness of like, is everything going to be okay? I'm just going to take it one day at a time. I kept telling myself I'm going one step at a time, one day at a time, one test at a time. Like this is great and I'm feeling great. And then everything else happened. And I just feel like I never have yet, I hadn't really given myself a chance to be like, yeah, it's all happening. And like, I want to birth like this and I want this to happen. You know what I mean?
And
like
this is the baby's name. And yeah.
And so, yes, I feel like the soul has come back in. I feel really good. And I felt really happy and really excited this whole pregnancy so far. But it's also been kind of, a little bit of like, we're going to go one tiny step at a time.
Yeah.
And now I feel like after everything that's happened, I'm like, okay, I'm going to settle into life a little bit and settle into this pregnancy and like be with my kids and just really like focus on the baby. And craziest thing too, I have to tell you guys, the day of the fires, everything was crazy. And, we got that night to Malibu and then realized that we had to evacuate again to get to Dave's. And we did that. And by the time we got home, everybody, it was like overwhelming, emotional and sad, all those things. But I was nervous about the baby. I was like, this is a lot. This is heavy. I just watched my house burn down. My children are sad. Like we're all carrying a lot. We're living in this fight or flight. And I was like, I really wanted to like make sure the baby was okay, like see something. And it wasn't time yet for my scan. And, it's late at night and I had yet to feel the baby kicking. And I don't know, I feel like I was at 20 something weeks anyway. Right.
I know you had one at 16 weeks where you had the anxiety and you went in for the scan.
Yes. Yeah. But this was the night of the fires. So whatever date that was the 7th. I felt the baby really kick me for the first time that night.
Oh.
Yes. The first time, like a real kick. Like I had sort of been like, was that a kick or was that gas? Or was that, there was like a few little moments where I was like, I don't know. I can't really tell. And I feel it's confusing because like my placenta is in the front of my belly. Yeah. So like it's hard for me to feel.
Mine are always at the front too. And then they're kicking into a cushion.
Right. So it feels very muted. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that is that the night of the fires was the first time I really felt a real kick. Aww. And I was like, oh my God, baby's okay. Like I needed that so bad.
Did you do, because I feel like in every one of my pregnancies, although funny, not the pregnancy loss. That's funny. But I always whip out the Sonoline B home Doppler. I whip it out. But then I have to force myself not to do it super regularly. Do you have one and have you been using it?
I did.
Or maybe not since the kicking.
I had one when we were in Idaho and I was using it there because I was like, I'm going to be away from my doctor and like, I'm going to be at elevation. And so I had used it there and I found it really, I think I got a really crappy one. Yeah. So I found it to be really hard. Like it was hard to find the heartbeat. It would take me so long to do it. Finally, I would find it and be able to like hold on to the heartbeat for a little bit. And then, they say if the placenta is like in the front, the way that mine is, like it's harder to like find
it's
a
like
spot.
More distant. Yeah.
So anyway, that burned in the fire. So I didn't have it the night that I was like so stressed. And we had 4 days of like fight or flight, insanity where I just kept feeling like things were crazy. But if I had had it, I would have been doing it nonstop. Nonstop. Which is almost worse because like it's stressful when you can't find the heartbeat and you're like trying really hard. Anyway, so the fact that the baby started kicking me immediately that night was like the best gift ever. Cause then I was like, okay, now I can really like, I'll feel it. And then I'll just keep knowing like baby's okay. Anyway, so,
oh my gosh, Sarah, this has been the news like we'd been waiting for. We knew it was coming. I feel like I've ridden so many waves, like we've both have together on this journey. And like I was just thinking about being in that Malibu playground and like the scream and the ultrasound and like the highs and then the lows and then the highs and it's been like what a remarkable journey of growth in so many ways. Mm-hmm. And the idea that you have got through the things that you have got through this pregnancy, I wanted to ask you about that because you made a really astute observation about 3 of these babies that you have carried. And I think it's pretty interesting to talk about because it's a very unique experience. If you wanted to dive into that a bit.
Yeah. So I realized that the last births that I've had, right? So my birth with Esme, my birth with Winter, and now this pregnancy with this baby. So all 3 pregnancies have come with a major life event. So with Esme, I was about 4 months pregnant when 4 or 5 months pregnant when my dad died. I had been taking care of him throughout that pregnancy. And then when I was about 4 months pregnant with Winter, the entire world shut down because it was COVID, and she was born September 2020. So my pregnancy with her was like the stressful beginning of COVID times. And then with this one, I was about 4 months pregnant, 4.5, when our house burned down.
Oh my gosh.
And I would say each one of those times in life was a very life-altering time for me, like transformative, huge growth in so many ways, like mind-opening, growing, changing. But the through line is that the sort of like light at the end of the tunnel was this baby being brought into the world. And then us all having this like beautiful life to bring in and focus on, and it sort of brought in this newness as we shifted into a new plane, right? And so I thought that was really interesting as this all happened to be exactly the same place in my pregnancy, and to know that like as things are going to feel really different in the next few months before the baby's born, because baby is due spring, summer, that it's going to be the same thing where this like life is coming in and this huge transformation has happened, and we're all really seeing a huge change, like the children too, Eric too. And so that was wild. I mean, I sent that to Laura Lynn Jackson too. I was like, how crazy is this? Like, how this is weird, right? Like, is it just that timing wise, I just wait until like the life cycle time to like, like they
like
say
18 weeks pregnant.
Yeah. It's like a big transformation every like 4 years or something. So I like wait every 4 years to have another baby.
Oh my gosh.
And then,
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so true, because the last 3 have been spaced 4, and this is 4.5, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Esme was like about 3 years apart from Wyatt. And and then Winter and Esme are 4 years apart. And then this baby and Winter will be about 4.5 years apart. So
did Laura like offer up any, or she was just like,
whoa, yeah, this is crazy, like, whoa, this is nuts.
Oh my gosh.
It is nuts.
I want to ask you about like, you are one of the healthiest people I know. Like, you really are. Like, you just take care of yourself. You're really committed you go to your acupuncturist. You are so committed to being the healthiest version of yourself. But then you hear all these stories about women being like, oh, pregnancy in your 40s, like, it doesn't feel like it did in the 20s. I'm I asked you about this like a couple of months ago. As I think about the idea of like wanting to have a baby and all that sort of stuff and thinking I'm about to be 39 and I'm like, oh God, how will that feel different? And so I was like, is it, tell me, like, give me the insight. Like, is it, do you feel more tired? And you were just kind of like, no, not really. And I think that's such a testament to how well you look after yourself and you're so committed to that. But yeah, talk to me about that. Does it feel any different or not? Like now that you're older, wiser, lived more, like, I don't know. Does any of that add to it, do you think?
No, I don't know. It doesn't feel, I think my like most uncomfortable pregnancy was the one I had when I was pregnant with Esme. But I also don't feel like I was like my healthiest then. I was sort of like eating whatever sounded good. And I was like, I wasn't, walking as much as I walked with Wyatt. And then when I was pregnant with Winter, I walked a lot, but I didn't like work out. And then this baby, I had been, for the last couple of years, I've been doing like all of my strength training and everything. So I just stayed pretty consistent with that. When I felt really sick, because my first trimester of this pregnancy, I was really sick, sick every day at 3 o'clock, from 3 o'clock until the middle of the night.
And what kind of sick? Like just
I was going to throw up. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
I would get headaches occasionally, but mostly it was just like I'm on the brink of, like, Eric would come like walking through the house being like, where's mom? And he'd walk into the bedroom and I would be in bed at 6 p.m.
Oh my God. And I'd be like, you're like, I'm out.
I'd just be like, I can't move. I just can't move. I'm so sick. Like I just felt so nauseous. And I remembered feeling that way really strongly with Wyatt when I was pregnant with Wyatt. So, it was very similar, like 3 p.m. on.
Wow.
So sick.
Did it make you think, I know we're not going to say, we don't know what it is, but did that make you think, oh, I might be having a boy because it's the same sort of nausea as,
Yeah. I have literally flip-flopped 1,000 times in this where I've been like, oh, wait, maybe it's a girl, or oh, wait, maybe it's a boy.
It's a girl. So, yeah. Did you ever consider doing a surprise? Like a surprise birth, like just being
heck no. I can't.
I fantasize about that so much. I just am like, oh, that could be amazing.
So many people do that. And I think it's so awesome. I don't know how they have the restraint. I buy someone a present and immediately have to force my hands into handcuffs to stop myself from texting them to be like, I just found the greatest thing for you. Like, I can't hold back a surprise. Like, I get so excited, about something like that. So like if like the fact that my body would know and I wouldn't, I'd be like, I can't do it. Like I need to know.
I do fantasize about it. I've never done it, but I do fantasize.
Also, I feel like there's so much guessing that happens when, with other people where they're like, oh, you're definitely having a boy because of this and this, or like, oh, you're definitely having a girl.
Yeah.
Like it would just be so hard for me to wait to the end to find out, because then I would be like, I don't want to have a moment where I'm like, oh, I really thought it was this. You know what I mean? Like in the room, like I just want to know. I just want to know. Be prepared. Baby comes out and I'm like, yep. If there's a surprise that day, then great. But like, and
I guess like the whole thing's a surprise, really. Like what the baby looks like, how much the baby weighs, what the birth is, like what the personality is.
The weight's always a great surprise with me.
Yeah, it is. I know. Do you have any inklings of like, are you carrying similarly to say like Esme or similarly to Winter?
This baby's measuring about a week to a week and a half ahead and in the 100th percentile of everything.
Oh my God.
For sure, same situation where
over 10 pounder.
It's going to be a big baby, 9 to 11 pounds, somewhere in that range for sure.
Oh my God, Sarah, you're amazing.
And maybe less, but I doubt it because it feels big already.
Your smallest baby was what? Who was your smallest baby?
Wyatt, my first. Yeah,
he was like 9 something.
Yeah, he was almost 10. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but he was like almost 10 pounds. And then, but Esme was 11 and Winter was 10.4. So
yes, okay, that's right. But your vagina handles that really well.
You know,
she doesn't like. She never tears. She just like it knows what to do. It does its thing.
A giant hallway now. No, no. I don't know. I think like I've mentally gotten myself into a place where I'm like, okay, definitely now I know that my body just like that's what happens. So I'm not even gonna like overthink it or get in my head about it. I was just at a birthday party and this woman who's due in 7 weeks was there, and I am not even close to being due in 7 weeks. I have a lot more time than that, and my belly was so much bigger than her belly. And I was like,
was she like, when are you due? Or are we like due date buddies?
I'm due like 2 months after her or something.
Oh my God.
It was just so funny because I was like, oh God, like I do feel big in this section, you know, like, but my boobs feel bigger this time for some reason, heavier. And then my belly just feels like, you know, it just feels big. So, but I feel great otherwise.
I love your pregnant belly so much. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
It's funny. I was trying to figure out when to tell everyone this story, and we were going to do it much sooner, but then everything happened because I really just wanted to get to my like 20-week scan. And then go from there. But yeah.
And what about like, have you now, because Sarah hadn't even told a lot of people. I mean, it became obvious at a certain point. When could you not hide it? How far along were you when you were like, I cannot hide this stomach?
Right before the holidays, I would say I still had a few outfits that were very concealing, like somehow like a big coat and like a big sweater. Like I could sort of like conceal it in a way. If I was standing, I could hide it still. After the holidays, no way. It was like we came back
12 weeks or 13 or something?
Like before the holidays?
Yeah. Like
no, even all the way to like 15 weeks or something.
Yeah. Wow.
16 weeks, something like that. Even up to then, like it was, if I had on a tight t-shirt, like I looked like I was 7 months pregnant, like for sure. But
yeah.
If I was wearing a coat, like it's winter time. So like if I was wearing a coat and layers big and whatever, you can just kind of like conceal it in a way where if you're standing up and you're not sitting and it's not like hugging you in a way, then I could still sort of hide it. But I mean, when we came back to school, the first like day for my kids' school before, you know, I think they were only in school for 2 days before everything happened. But when I came back, everybody was like, whoa, you're pregnant? Like they just like,
they just knew.
I felt like I hadn't been like really hiding it that much from people at school just because it's hard to when you're just like constantly there.
You see them every day. And
yeah, but then it was just like really obvious. Like there was no hiding that. But yeah, a lot of people very close to me in my life like didn't know. And I just really wanted to like take it I just kept saying one day at a time. I just needed to like go slow after, you know, all the losses that I had. It just felt like really comforting.
And I guess it's like little milestones, like the first time you see the heartbeat. Okay. And then for you, probably getting past like 8.5 weeks or like 9 weeks when your last couple of losses were like, okay, tick that box. And then the next milestone is, you know, 12-week scan or the NIPT test results coming back. It's like little by little. I remember even though I'd only had that one loss this was before last year. So like in 2016, I still always felt like, okay, once I hit like 24, 25 weeks, when I know that like baby could survive outside of my tummy with intervention, then I felt like, can I celebrate this now? Like, I think I can celebrate this now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like in other pregnancies, like it was like once I got close to 12 weeks, I was like, boom,
Boom,
like
ready to go. Yeah.
telling everyone. Yeah. And then I did not feel that way this time. Like I felt very much like I just needed to go slow and I didn't want to get like too in my head about everything either. So I just like allowed myself to, we told the kids pretty early on. I'm trying to think of like, when did we tell them? Eric and I, we did it together and we showed them, I think, an ultrasound photo.
Oh,
God, I'll have to ask him because there's like so many kid reveals and I've now forgotten.
Yeah.
I've now forgotten, but yeah, they were all so excited, but then they were so sweet too, because they were like, well, is this baby going to make it? And I'm like, I don't know, like I would say everything's looking really good, but you never know. And if it doesn't make it, then, we'll try again.
Yeah.
And so, the milestone of the NIPT test was my first like exhale. I think I felt really good after that. But I wasn't ready. I mean, you and I talked about this a lot off the pod, but we were just like, I was like, I don't know. Like, I still feel like I need to wait until I get to this test or this thing, you know what I mean? I was like, the next one is this, and then I can relax a little bit. And so really it was like, once I got to the holidays and I had that like 16-week, I forget, it's like they test the like, they look at like the spinal cord and they check out like different organs and things like that. Then I was like, okay. And the baby was growing so well and had been growing so well the whole time. Big.
Oh,
yeah.
That's big, so reassuring.
Like a week ahead. Yeah. And so, but my whole time, my doctor kept saying to me, like, I'm telling you, like, this is all like, this feels really good. And the ultrasound tech was like, don't worry, this baby's going to be great. Like, she's like, everything looks great, And I was just like, okay, that's really sweet, but I'm scared.
Yeah. It's so hard. I remember, I like, people know I love my Reddit. And
I've done a few Reddit dives. I've done a few Reddit.
Oh yeah. I love a bit of a Reddit. And I remember after my loss, I would, go and have a little sneaky peek in the pregnancy after loss thread to see how people were feeling and how long it took them to get pregnant again and all these sorts of things. And like, oh, is that what I'll be feeling when, we get pregnant again? Will I be feeling those same things? And it was really eye-opening reading these stories of these women who are saying such similar things to you, where it was like appointment by appointment, like for now, today I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm still pregnant. Like these little scares would pop up for them and it would throw them into, and there was this like incredible community of people just wrapping their arms around them being like, I felt that too. I feel the same way. It was so beautiful to see how like we lift each other up and comfort in a shared experience like that. So I'm glad that you've spoken about what comes with being pregnant after loss.
Well, also there was a day. So I was doing the very like, okay, I'm taking it one day at a time, but my doctor was seeing me about every 10 to 12 days to like do a scan. And he just was very on top of it. Like he wanted to like be very on top of this pregnancy. And then we got to this point where I graduated to like more time. So it was like, it's going to be like 4 weeks or something. Right. And
was that after 12 weeks?
Yeah, I feel like it was, somewhere in that. And I panicked one night. I just got scared. I was just like, and I don't remember why. Do you remember why? Because I remember writing you and freaking out.
I think it was late at night. You were around 16 weeks, I think.
Oh, okay.
And you were like...
Yeah, it was before that. Yeah.
I'm feeling you were feeling like out of it and you just got in your head and
got crazy anxiety and like had a night. I just felt off. Like I don't know what it was. And so the next morning I called my doctor and I was like, I think I need to come in. I couldn't sleep last night and I just need to make sure everything's okay. And I know I'm not really scheduled until next week, but I just like can't make it to 4 weeks. I have to like come in. And so I came in and got a scan done and everything was fine. Baby was great. And, my doctor came in and I was almost like embarrassed. Like I was almost like, ooh, I just like obviously spun out. I freaked out. But the first thing he said when he came in was just like, it makes perfect sense as to why this happened and why you felt this way. And he was like, if you want to text me on the weekend, if you want to come in, like, don't even think twice about it. I want you to feel so good and know like this baby looks amazing. The baby's doing great. He's like, but if you have any of these moments where you're feeling like, you're spinning out or there's any anxiety, he's like, don't even hesitate. Just come in. It's totally fine. It makes sense. Like you've had multiple losses. And so I think like having a care provider that you felt so held by, because I was just like, oh, that's so nice that he was so understanding of that, moment in which I'm just sort of like freaking out for no reason.
And think about how many there are of you who come in and have had losses and are like, please help, can I have a scan? Like he would see that all the time. And that's a sign of an amazing doctor.
Yeah.
Like someone with empathy and understanding and non-judgment and open arms. Like this is an open door policy. You come in, you get scans when you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I remember doing that with Prairie, just having a freak out, like for no particular reason, and going to the hospital for a scan.
Oh, God, yes.
Being like, I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I was like, there's something wrong and I can't feel her. And I was probably about 11 weeks or something like that. And going to the ER for a scan. And I've read lots of stories like that. I think it's just a part of it. It's a unique thing.
I think it was something weird where like, do you remember where I felt like my belly had like deflated a little bit or something? Like it was something. I know. It was something really straight. Oh my God, our texts are miles long. I've tried to do that too.
They're so long. Same. I tried to go back and look for something the other day and I was like, oh, hilarious.
And then some things like don't make sense because our voice memos will like disappear. Yes, and so then we're like responding to things that are not there, which is really funny too.
Love me a voice message.
Love a voice memo. Anyway, so I do feel like it was something where I felt like my belly looked smaller. And that had happened to me with the last pregnancy loss where I had like said out loud, like, wow, my belly looks smaller or something. And then we were like on the airplane and I was like looking down and I was like, this is weird. It's like, it looks like it's a little deflated. And then I ended up having pregnancy loss that time. And so then this time, like, that was just like the one moment when I looked in the mirror and I was like, wait, I feel like it was bigger.
Smaller? Yeah.
It looks smaller all of a sudden. And that put the seed in my brain to start going like, oh, no.
And once it's in there, it just goes.
Yeah. Because then you walk by the mirror 1,000 times and you're like, is it smaller? Is it bigger? Oh, no, I think it's fine. Oh, is my pants tight? Or my pants are buttoning. Why are they buttoning? They shouldn't be buttoning.
And how have you been able to like transition into thoughts of how you want to bring the baby earthside this time?
A little bit, not a lot. I think I want to do a hospital birth again. But I'm sort of trying to like figure out where, because we may be moving. So I'm just, there's like so much transition happening right now. But I do know that like you know, whether it's with the doctor that I have now or another doctor who I know is really amazing, I think I just want to like do what I've done before and sort of like let my like follow my body's lead and like, you know, but I do think I want to do a hospital birth. So much has happened in this last like few weeks that it's weird. Like there's been so much shift and transition. And before now, it's not like I had envisioned myself birthing or in postpartum in my home that burned down. Like I hadn't really like gotten to that place yet. I was allowing myself just like one day at a time. So I wasn't daydreaming about, you know, the birthing process yet. And then once all that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like I hadn't even pictured like the time of year it would be in my home and like postpartum time or like any of that. And I'm glad I had it because I would be grieving this like lost moment in this place that I love, you know? So now I feel like I'm in this really interesting place of transition of us trying to figure out where are we going to be and where we're going to live. And like, you know, if we're going to move out of town or stay in town or like all of that. And once I think we're really settled, I think I'm going to see it more. And, and I can kind of see it now. And it feels like, I don't know. I think it feels like it's going to be really beautiful and like it's going to bring us on to this like grounded place, you know, like, and I definitely just want to have a natural birth, but I don't think I was sort of in between, like, do I want to do a hospital birth or a home birth? And I'm leaning towards hospital birth only because I'm like, I don't think I can handle anything else in my life right now, except for just knowing like the last couple births I had at a hospital was great. I'm just going to leave it at that.
That were great births. Leave it at that. Good experiences.
Don't need to like have anything surprising or I'm just going to, it was great.
Yeah. And you have, and especially like, you know, that during your birthing, you usually have cervical lips.
Yes.
And that's something that obviously can be managed at home. And I've had one managed at home before, but it's not straightforward. It's not totally straightforward. And I mean,
I think too, because so much is happening in LA right now. There's so much debris removal happening, construction that will be happening. The Army Corps of Engineers are here. Like the PCH is closed. There's just so much going on where it feels like, you know, we might need to leave. And if we leave and go somewhere else, I think I'm going to feel really good about just like being at a hospital with a new doctor, you know, maybe that I don't know as well as I know my doctor, but I know that's an amazing doctor.
Yeah.
And being able to explain all of this stuff, but just knowing that I have like a little bit of, I have big babies, I have special things that happen, you know, with my body that I know happen every single time.
She's definitely going to want to be in a squat, split leg thing to push the baby out.
Gotta go interview some hospitals, make sure I can do that, you know,
that's
like whatever it is, wherever it happens. Like
nurses will be told to back off.
Yes, I'll be shushing everyone.
Yes.
And who knows? I mean, this whole like time has been such a weird time. I'm like, who knows? This baby could come out like on the way or in the car. Like I just, that is out of my control. I'm letting go of all of that. But I'm excited. I now feel really excited. And also just, I feel like we have a little bit of a plan in place for like where we're going in life, which is also exciting. And there's just been so much like up in the air in the last few weeks, as you all know, that this is great.
So exciting, Sarah.
I know
everyone is so happy for you.
Thank you. We're so excited. Eric is over the moon. He I don't think he ever really imagined having 4 children, but he's definitely been very excited about.
I can tell you from experience. It is the best.
The best.
I love it so
Trust
much.
me.
And they have each other.
Yes, they have each other.
So
and
nice.
I mean, Winter was built
pack.
to be a big sister. She just wants it so bad.
Oh my gosh, she's going to be so cute, Sarah.
I know. And then, Wyatt, he like can't wait. And
can't wait.
Even more so, it feels like after all the stuff that's happened, like it's just going to be so fun for them to have this little nugget this summer to focus on. Yeah. It's just really special. So,
yeah.
So we're excited. It'll be good. Eric! Kaka! I was trying to get Eric's attention to see if he wanted to pop in, but he's outside with our neighbors in the street right now.
let him be.
I'll let him be. So we'll have lots of talk. We'll have lots of pregnancy talk over the next
we should go
weeks.
through our book and we should talk about that.
Yes. We should go through our book. We're going to interview our really good friend Carson Meyer, who wrote a beautiful book as well. And so we'll get to talk about that on here. And I think I'm going to crack our book back open now and start really I'm feeling the urge now to nest and start prepping for all of this.
Oh my gosh.
I still have quite a few months ahead of me, but I don't look like it. But whatever. But it's going to be exciting. So if you guys have any questions or topics or anything, if anybody else is pregnant right now or wanting to be,
you should do a whatever week you are vlog, just one off or something for the website.
Yes, I should. Okay.
Yeah. They were the OGs, the pregnancy vlog OGs.
Right. Oh my God.
Oh.
I know. I couldn't bring myself to do the vlogs. I wanted to, but I was I couldn't do it. Every time I went to do it, I was day by day, day by day.
Day by day.
Yeah.
I did vlogs for my, I think I told you, for my pregnancy loss. But then I stopped at 7 weeks for no reason. I just couldn't do it. And then, of course, I lost the baby. So I cannot handle looking at those videos. I just deleted them, I think. Delete. Yeah, I'm delete, goodbye. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. I know. I look back, I have one photo from the summer when my belly really popped out and I'm in a bikini and I'm holding my belly and I see that photo sometimes and I'm oh, so cute. That's this. Oh no, that was the other pregnancy. Because it happened so back to back.
It was so close. Your tummy stayed ready for the next baby though. Because I remember seeing you in Malibu and after the D&C and I was oh, that belly still looks pregnant. That baby could literally just come straight in.
It did.
Just pick up where it, left off.
It didn't go back down at all. It really stayed and then just continued on because, well,
no wonder why you feel like you've been pregnant forever. You have.
Well, by the time I have this baby, it will have been a year from when from when I got pregnant with the last pregnancy. Yeah. Cause really it was just that 1 month where I had, I had the D&C and then got my cycle. So it was a month and a half of not being pregnant.
Yeah.
In the middle of it. Yeah. Which the whole time I kept saying, I still feel pregnant.
You kept saying it.
Which is crazy.
That little soul was just there.
Oh, well, we love you, Daisy.
We love you guys.
The news is out.
We've unleashed it. Yes.
Now we have to start coming up with names, guys.
I know.
You got to help me.
I thought you were set, but you're not. You're not set.
I'm sort of set, but I'm also a little open. I'm both. I need to feel it out more. I think I need to get settled into my life, and then maybe it'll feel done. Yeah. These are all the exciting things. I know. Okay. We love you guys.
We love you.
You've been listening to the Mother Days. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Bye. Bye.